I'm Sean. This is Indigenous Patriot. Thank you for joining me. Today's video is going to be the next in our Fighting the Fake News series. I'm going to cover an app that I happen to be fond of. I'm going to go over the different functions that it has. I personally use the free version. I'm also going to link it down below in the description. If you have any apps that you prefer, please link them in the comments section down below. I would appreciate that. Without further ado, let's get started. The Newsvoice app is a pretty simple UI. It's, basically what you expect from any of the news apps that are on the Google Play or iOS stores. There are a few things that I particularly enjoy about this app, and I'll go into them, but first I want to talk about the options and go over the different sections of the UI. I'm going to skip talking about articles in particular and leave that for the end of this particular video. So let's get started on the options. At the top you see News Mix, Invite a Friend, and Add News. If I click Invite a Friend, that gives me a little link that I can send to people, and you get perks for that. I haven't sent mine to anyone, but I'll leave it down in the description below. Maybe we can figure out what happens from there. Add News is an option that's only for volunteers, if I'm not mistaken, and they have guidelines on what they accept and what they throw out. So it's not like they're just going to take any article that you suggest to them. They like to keep things a little bit more professional. They don't really take blogs and opinion pieces. When we go down past the articles, we see a section that has the magnifying glass, and from there you can search different topics. So if I go in here and I put Kamala and hit the done button, shows me a bunch of articles about Kamala Harris, or in fact anything that has the word Kamala in it. If you really had seen an article that you liked but you forgot to hit the save button, this allows you to quickly go find that article. We have News Mix, which is the page that we were on when I opened up the app. Something that's really important about the News Mix is that it's basically tailored to your own tastes, and I enjoy that. I'll go over that setting when we go into the account section. You also have world, U.S., politics, science and technology, and business. These are all self-explanatory. Politics is going to be generally about United States politics. United States is going to be what's going on in the United States, etc. One section down below, we have news, listen, saved, goals, and account. The news page is the default page that it's on. If we hit the listen one, that's like your own personal news radio station. It allows you to choose the topics that you enjoy, and you just hit the play button and listen to them. I don't particularly subscribe to Newsvoice at the moment, so I don't have a lot of experience with its Newsvoice radio station. I'll talk a little bit about the various backer levels when we get to that section. Saved is one of the things that's really important to me. Generally, I clear it out, after each video, but what it does is it allows me in my research to save articles that I find particularly interesting and refer to them later on when I want to do a video. Goals is kind of like a little game. You can earn points for doing different things. I have to upvote 3 stories, and that'll send me to level 2, and I'm not really sure what happens at that point. We can see the little tab at the top that says how to earn points. So you can earn 10 points by getting a summary approved. You can earn 5 points by getting a link approved, etc. You can apply to be a moderator. That has different things that you have to accomplish before you do that. You got to reach level 5, etc. Then we go to account. Now, account is where you're going to be able to tailor your news mix a little bit better. So when we're in the account settings, it shows our sign. I'm signed in, Sean. I'm Sean, the Indigenous Patriot. My account status is active. I am currently not a backer. If I click the back Newsvoice button, that shows us the various levels of backing and what they provide. Currently, they're offering a basic backer at $4.49, and that allows you to have the Newsvoice Play, which is the world's first personal radio station. A custom avatar image when commenting. The premium backer is $9.49 a month. It's all basic backer features, plus you get to try out new features before anyone else, and you get a cool backer badge. And then they add the super backer, which is $20 a month, $19.99, and that gives you all of the previous features. You get an exclusive animated super backer badge, and you get their eternal gratitude. The next section is the news mix section, and this is something that's really interesting to me, because this is the first page that you come to is going to be your news mix. And generally, if you kind of want to know what's going on overall, that's where I start out. You can determine how much of each type of news you want to be displayed. So in world, for instance, I have it at the minimum. It's not at the off, it's at the minimum, because I want to know what's going on in the world. But I really focus a lot on what's happening in the United States and in politics. So obviously I have them at the top. I'm huge into video games and cell phones and things. So for that, I have it at a medium. And then for business, the same as world, it's something that I keep an eye on, but it's not something that I spend a lot of time discussing. So I keep that at a minimum. I don't have anything at off because, you know, I'm about the news. You can turn off and on comments in the actual articles. I have comments off. If I turn them on, we can go to an article real quick. It'll allow you to see what various people are saying about the articles. They're not in the actual articles themselves. These are comments that are done within the app. So everybody from the Newsvoice app, everybody that's using this particular app, or that's where your comments are coming from. They have the selection for dark theme and light theme. I prefer to keep the dark theme on. I do that for Facebook and Twitter and everything else as well. Hide menu and scrolling. I don't keep that checked. I particularly like my articles to open up within the app. So you have an option that allows you to open articles up in a separate browser. This is good if you are doing what I do and, you're going to contrast and compare different articles. You might want to open some of them up in a browser so you could easily flip back and forth to them. You have the volunteer, selection, contact, rules and guidelines, privacy policy, terms of service, licenses, and legal. Those are all pretty self-explanatory. Let's go into an actual article real quick. So the NRA files for bankruptcy. We have the option here to listen. So let's.
NRA files for bankruptcy. The nation's most politically influential gun rights group, National Rifle Association, has filed for bankruptcy. The group will now seek to incorporate in Texas instead of...
All right, so we don't really need to hear the whole thing. It just gives us an idea. When you're listening to the listen option, what it does is it just reads the summary. And the summary is done by Newsvoice volunteers. It's supposed to be nonpartisan, just a simple summary of what the actual news happens to be. And then if you want to read more, they provide various links from across the spectrum. And here's where Newsvoice rises above some of the lesser apps, in my opinion. Look at the articles and then the little color coding down below them. So if we look at the first one, it says NRA files for bankruptcy, dumps New York, will reincorporate in Texas. That little teal, I guess that is, independent, shows that it is not a right or a left or a Europe particular bias. It's from an independent publisher. Now, I'll tell you that Zero Hedge does have bias, and we'll look at that in a future app. This particular app doesn't show bias charts. If we look at the next one, it says NRA to declare bankruptcy, reorganize in Texas, and that's from Rolling Stone, which is left. You got The Guardian from Europe. You got Fox Business from the right. So what you can do is see what the various news sources are saying about the particular topic and compare and contrast the things that, you find of a difference in their reporting. Separate the bias out of what they're trying to tell you. That's what this whole series is about, understanding bias. We can click the little share button that allows us to share to people that we may know. Let's go into an article. So I'm going to click on the first one, the independent one from Zero Hedge. This allows me to actually see directly the web page that they are, their actual web page with their actual article, and I can read what they have to say. I'm not going to do that right now. Okay. So it's a pretty cool little app, simple to use. You can get your news fix out of it. Go into your news mix. Okay, see, all new Windows 10 design unmasked, and it's pretty dramatic change from Microsoft. If we look at that was done 2 hours ago. Okay, if we go back and look, the little up thing with the 3, that's how many upvotes it's given. I can upvote it to give it a 4th one. I can click the little share button, and that'll allow me to share it to people or tweet it or whatever I want to do. I can click the little save button. So see how I click that? When I go to my saved section, if we look at the top, there it is right there. Okay. So let's go back to the news. Okay. If we're looking at the little pencil there, that allows us to edit it. Now, you're not going to be able to just edit it and expect that it is going to be accepted and your trolling is successful. They have a guidelines that you need to follow in order to, make any edits or submit any articles. So that's pretty much Newsvoice. I don't really have much more to say about this app. I use it. It's not the app that I use the most, but if you're looking for an app that is simple, that has the customization, you could do worse than checking out Newsvoice. Hopefully you found the little review there of the Newsvoice app helpful. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I like to use it a lot. I don't use it as my main app. We'll cover that in a future video in this series. But I do like to use Newsvoice in particular to contrast the title names for the different articles, because it really shows bias. They could be talking about the same exact issue, but their headline is just so different. If you like content like this, please remember to hit the subscribe button. It helps me grow. Hit the thumbs up button. Lets me know that you like these particular types of videos. This is actually the first time I've done a review videos like in its entirety. So let me know what you think. In any case, Lepichka Nawe. I'll see you again.